We're gonna open for you guys to ask questions. So I'll just have to walk down there. Yeah, okay, I'll walk down there.
I have a question for Mr. T. So what is it that you guys in Mr. Casper are just doing right to make your relationship shine light?
Okay, thanks, man. I understand the question. The first one is, the first part of my answer is less glamorous. It's genuinely, I'm not saying this to sound holier than thou, or it's God. Like, I cannot put enough emphasis on that. The more to the practical one is, see, the way that I see artist and talent relationship is, it's a Refilo Polo, that's Casper's name, right? And Lerato Muilwa, both managers of the brand Carpo More. So Refilo Polo is a part management team to Carpo More, the brand. So that's the first part. And the second part is the same things. So if I'm looking in the mirror and I'm saying, okay, I'm Tilly, if I am Casper, am I keeping Tilly as a manager? That's the question. I ask myself that every day. Like, am I doing enough for this talent to keep me? So if I was him, would I keep me? And for him, he's always answering the question, would I keep this talent as if I was the manager? So we try to answer that constantly, and that's how we compete in trying to better ourselves. We take so much pride in coming up with ideas and supporting each other, because that is part of our matrix. You know, I have to, no matter whether the idea was mine or not, my execution has to seem as if it was my idea. We can argue about a lot of things. So whether we should do this, I hated the whole boxing idea. I hated it. I hated it. I didn't want that. And because of where it stemmed from, not because of the exhibition of it, right? Because of the injection of it. If you know the history of Casper, I'm not saying that everybody does, you know what led to Celebcity. But I hated the roots of it, and I don't operate from a place of, I don't operate from a negative perspective. I'm not wired like that. Some people are, and I'm not, I'll show you type of person. I fail every time I try to do that, I show you thing. I operate from a place of grace, so that didn't align with that. But we argued about it when we see what to do. It took us a year and a half to get to Celebcity 1, of me saying no. And the money was incredible, but I said no. But eventually when I agreed to do it, I executed as if it was my idea. Like, you even get tweets. I sometimes get tweets or whatever. Well, I haven't been on Twitter for a while, but I sometimes used to see tweets of me getting praised for something that I had no decision, not even a decision, no input on as far as it started. I just came in, did my work, but the way that I performed seamlessly was my idea, and that's how we do it. Even him. There's a lot of things like, guys, I don't want to do that thing, dog guy. We fight, and then we wake him up, and then he gets there, Nogana makes him look good, Jabu makes him look good on camera, then client never even knows that this guy didn't want to wake up. You know? Because we understand that, okay, the purpose is to get to the goal, and it takes certain steps. Whether it's uncomfortable or not, the goal doesn't change. And we're only halfway there.
You hate it. You hate it. You hate it. All right.
Carpo, can I just add to that?
All right, come.
You know, having had the privilege to work with TD and at the Casper brand, on Power Play as a brand, I think for me, and a lot of people do come up to me and say, why does that relationship work? Now, I don't have the background stories or the intrinsic stuff that TD is talking about, but for me, simply put, from a brand perspective, I always say that relationship works because Tilly understands he's the manager and he understands he's a superstar. He's not trying to be the superstar, he's trying to be the manager. And having worked in this environment, I've seen so many times where so much of an artist and manager relationship breaks down because people forget their roles. They are now out in the limelight and they're like, the manager's like, well, I also want to be seen there. The manager's job is to be in the background, not on the stage. And I think that's why this relationship has lasted for so long, and it will continue to work by virtue of that.
Wow. Honestly,
So if I go to that very same point, this is a very important piece of, information to talent managers and talent in the room. I'll give you an example. I'll try to flex a bit because Dave has been throwing some jams here, his relationships. So we were and it's reality, not flexing. We were in LA, and French Montana invited Casper to a party, right? So we're there, we're groovy on the table. It's going to be Becky, it's Kendall, Jenna, it's Mama. Now me, I'm from Taiwan for sure. So we partied with French's road manager, such an incredible lady. She's incredible at what she does. So at one point, because of we're from a small town, we're not stars here in the club. So French is standing on the couch. You know how you party when you stand on the couch. French is standing on the couch with Odell Beckham, with, who's that guy from the Kardashians? Rob. And not the music, The Weeknd. You were there, right? Yeah, with John, he was there. And Cass is standing with us on the floor, right? And the rest of the guys are standing on the couch. And French's manager walks up to me and says, "Why is he standing on the floor?" You know? And I'm like, "Nah, I mean, because I'm looking at the star, right? At the stars." And she's like, "Well, this is LA. This is Hollywood." That picture could be the biggest picture on tomorrow's news. So you always want to make sure that your artist is the best spot on the couch. So from that day I developed, I don't fight for couch space with my artist. My job is to find him the couch space. So that for me is such an important thing, because to Seth's point, you see a lot of talent managers fighting for a bottle of champagne when the artist doesn't even drink. For themselves and the girls that they brought in or whoever they're trying to impress. You see, talent managers, I wish I could mention names, but again, I'm not a slick talk. There's a talent manager who, I can mention his name. There's a talent manager who because we put money in his pocket. There's a talent manager who was doing incredible. And I started to see him be the face of Diamond Walk. But there was a disconnect between him and his artists. Right, because I can see the money, I can already see the problem. And unfortunately, that relationship didn't end up well. And it was short-lived, like a year. A year is nothing. But yeah.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Hello to the panel. To introduce myself, my name is Rafilwe. I'm an event manager, stage manager, and overall event creator. So my question would definitely go to Mr. Dale. How do you navigate around the industry? I think as an upcoming event creator, how do you navigate around the industry in knowing, I would say, your worth while avoiding arrogance about it? Because I found myself in a situation where I've been denied a gig, for example, because I refused to sleep with the person in charge. So how do you navigate in knowing that I know I want to make it, but I'm not going to get into bed with you to get to where I want to get to?
Look, it's unfortunate, guys, and the truth is that it might feel more prevalent in these industries, but it's the truth in a lot of places, right? Find the people that represent your values. So if somebody shows you who they are, believe them the first time. So, because we know very well whether it's artists, whether it's event promoters, how they carry themselves. Don't be shocked when you hear all the stories and you know what happens when you go and approach them to do work and then they do the thing they're known for. Right? So it is complicated and it is difficult and it is generally an issue that predominantly affects women. But choose your people that you want to work with, right? And there is a perfect example. You might get given 20 grand to work with somebody who you know has a reputation for treating women a specific way, and you might get offered 7.5 grand to work with somebody who you know presents well, has a strong moral fiber, and has a strong reputation and maybe knows people you've worked with. Now you've got the choice. take the 7.5 grand in my mind, right? Take the 7.5 grand because you know you're working with somebody who's going to treat you with respect. Because at that point, that extra 12.5 grand difference isn't worth how you end up being exploited yourself potentially, right? And so I think that that's a very important part of working in the industry with people, is that not every opportunity is created equally, right? And it comes with a cost. And sometimes that cost is something you're not prepared to pay. Stick to it. And it's not easy if you're a good-looking woman in the industry, I hate to tell you, it's going to keep happening. It's just the truth, guys. You'd love to pretend it's not going to. It's going to keep happening. Find the people you want to work with and build your reputation off the back of that, rather than trying to catch an opportunity where, because actually, women also know it. I've grown around single mom, 2 sisters. Women also know when a guy wants something else. And they also know when they're using their feminine charms to get themselves a certain way. Sometimes it's fine to do that. Sometimes it's more dangerous based on who you're doing it with. And I know it might sound maybe harsh from my side, but it is as straightforward as that. Don't use those charms if you're around an environment that's got a bad reputation and people are known for taking advantage of it. Yeah.
So just to add to what Dale said, it's unfortunate that happened, but it is a reality. It does happen. But I just want to say, please also understand, don't take for granted that nothing that is truly yours will remain yours. So if I make that kind of proposition to you and you are not comfortable with doing that, it simply means that the opportunity is not yours. And you should sleep well at night knowing that you didn't miss out on an opportunity, you ducked a potential threat. So that you should just take that to heart. And they made another important point. Choose the people that you work with. We have this thing of wanting quantity, right? We think like we should have 10 event promoters that we work with in order for us to be 10,000 rand, right? But the people that you work with, if Dale right now employs you as one of the guys that work, maybe stage production or whatever the case might be, show your value so much that Dale needs you for everything else that he does that's got to do with production. So now you've got one client, but you're making more than somebody that's got 1,000 clients by virtue of how many properties Dale and the team has. Right? So when you're reporting for work and the people that you're going to engage with, in the sense that they employ your services, just prove your work. We've worked with the same guys for so many years. We've worked with a lady called Praise. We worked with Leo. We're developing a new guy called Untakilo Sophobic. Those are the people that we've worked with for many years. There's a lady that you might know, Sibu Mabena, who came in as an intern and the first fill up. She's gone on to create incredible things. And where we can afford a time and afford to be with her, now we call her back to the table. So that network, again, everything ties together. But if you miss it because TV wanted to sleep with you and you're not comfortable with that means it wasn't yours. And you must sleep at night. Yeah. And then another thing, which is, I think it also applies to the artists as well, which is a mistake, according to me. You go to an artist page and you don't know what it is that they do for a living. We are all models. We are not our careers on Instagram, right? So you go to the guy, he's dressed fresh, a lady, she's hot. But you don't know what the hell the person does. So is there anything on your IG page that says that you are a stage manager? Posting on stage and saying, I did this, so when I go to your page, for whatever reason, that I see your work, the genuine people are out there as well, right? In the same way that I've seen it, you see at midnight, or whatever the case might be, sponsored on your Explore, right? A hot lady, she's just posting hot, or a guy in drip. Why don't you sponsor your work post so that we see that you are an event or stage manager? Promote that, put 500 rand for 5 days. It's got 10,000 people, or whatever the case might be. Yeah, exactly, that's incredible. So it says, and this is her, she says your social media is your CV. So use that. Put paid promo behind that, not just you looking hot.
Wow, that's amazing. You heard that? You good? All right. Let me see who I go to. Do I have any upcoming photographers here? Also? Any? Alright, are you a photographer? Stylist? Alright, let me just come here. Are you a photographer? I'm coming to you, sir.
Or perhaps I'm the upcoming event manager or talent manager. No, my question is for team. Yeah, because I'm from Kabanju. I'm currently now based in Future. Like we've always been an inspiration for us. And let me just take you back a little bit. I remember when I was growing up, there was a program called Was a Weekend. And at some point you appeared on Was a Weekend. And we're so happy. I think it was a basketball thing. And we're so happy and inspired by that. You know, I'm not into the entertainment industry, you know, but I'm actually fascinated about the industry a lot. And I want to establish myself in the industry. And you are one of the people that have inspired me a lot to, you know, get into this industry. You know, I arrived late, maybe you addressed this. I just want to know, like, the processes that you followed when you established, you know, Bridge Entertainment. And at the initial stages, what challenges did you actually encounter, you know, when we actually establishing this establishment? And then secondly, like I indicated that I'm fascinated about the industry, and one of the reasons why I'm so interested in the industry is that I realized that a lot of artists, especially DJs who cuts, you know, they are always, you know, fascinated by being compensated by the six-pack, you know, a Corona Savannah, you know, after playing. Then I don't know, you know, what can we do, you know, to professionalize the industry, educate them and capacitate them so that they can actually know they actually, you know, drawing their livelihood from this industry, and it's one of the, you know, things that they actually, you know, use to establish themselves in the industry. It's you know, playing so that they can actually have some alcohol, but it must be something that can actually go, you know, beyond, you know, sustaining that.
Thanks, man. And I'm glad to see that someone from our hometown is here. I rap it as much as I can. I appreciate you making the effort. You said you're based in Bloom, not here.
No, I'm based here now.
Oh, okay, cool.
But I'm from Kabanju.
Oh, okay, sure. Thank you so much for pulling through, man. I mean, with regards to how we started Bridge, it's a very long story, but I'll just narrow it down a bit. So I'm grateful that you asked that question today, because I've got my co-founder here and my partner, MJ, at the corner there. If you look at the logo, there's two heads there, and there's a bridge in the middle, so the two heads are supposed to be me and him. I know our noses are not nice like that, so, but that's supposed to be me and MJ. And why the bridge is outside of the metaphor of it and what it represents with regards to closing gaps, etc. We were actually sitting at an actual bridge when we decided to start Bridge Entertainment. We said in 10 years, we're going to have a record label called, we didn't have the name yet. We said in 10 years, we're going to have a record label. I think I was 16, you were 17, if not 17 and 18. And we said that was a goal for 10 years to have a record label. And then I think in 6 years, if not, we started Bridge. Not as a record label at the time. So that's how they came about. A lot of challenges along the way, and the easiest ones are around financing and lack of education. But that's a whole nother story, so we have to dive deeper into that, and that's going to take forever. I do have something that's coming up though, if not this year, December, next year, that gives a proper breakdown of that. But to the second part of your question about how do we not even commercialize and try to help emerging artists, you know, get paid for their services, right, and not with a six-pack. For me, if I'm sitting on the side of a talent manager, it's a different response to if I'm sitting on the side of a promoter. I argue with one of my nephews a lot because he's also a DJ. We had a big argument 2-3 days ago about the value, right? And I think Dale touched on this. If I ask you who your favorite DJ is right now, so who's a DJ here? You're a DJ. Where are you from? I'm from Pretoria. Pretoria. Who's your favorite DJ that is not known? That you knows from your hood, but he's incredible. He's better than Maporesha, he's better than Kabza. That you love. And you can say any name.
There's a guy by the name of M-Touch.
M-Touch, ne? So let's stick to the M-Touch conversation. So I give you a budget. Say, organize a party. I'm giving you 50,000 rand. 50,000 rand. Organize a party in Bloemfontein during my proof. Ne? You have to make sure that people come and you make your money back and you make a profit. Are you booking M-Touch in Bloemfontein? Let us be honest. He's your favorite. Are you booking M-Touch in Bloemfontein?
No.
You see, that's my point right there. So you have to understand that your talent is not good enough to get you work or to get you paid. Because even the people that genuinely love your talent, they need more than just that for you to get revenue from them. And a lot of people seem to misunderstand that, or rather seem to have a different perspective on that, especially talented DJs and artists, etc. We're not just booking you for what you can do on stage, we're booking you for everything else that you come with. And I'm not only talking about how you can market my show. That's not that. I've got Aries Blackie to market my show. But within the small space that you have, within your small community, you know, I'm talking about, let's say, MTK. So he embraced the Future Most Wanted program so much. I didn't know anything about that guy, but I know more about him than I do about a lot of the artists that I've worked with in so many years, because of how much he embraced this program and a few other ones. So there's so much value in you proving your worth to the immediate circle. So to that guy that wants to pay you with a six-pack, do a little bit of extra this and that. And then eventually you'll see, I need this guy so much that I have to give him what he's asking for. Or at least half of what he's asking for outside of the six-pack. But you can't get stuck in that. And again, exposure versus expectation, two different concepts that can sometimes the lines get blurred. But ask yourself the question that I asked the gentleman there. Are you booking your favorite unknown act and paying them if you are a promoter yourself? And 90% of the people will say no. People don't even realize how much sometimes Dale and promoters book an artist because they love them. Like sometimes it's a selfish booking. I'm booking you because I want you. By virtue of what else you can display either on stage or whatever the case might be. Yeah.
Wow. No, you answered, my man. Your 30-minute question. Yeah, no. Guys, please don't forget to use the hashtag Future Most Wanted on your social media platforms. And don't forget to do the hashtag also Power Play and tag them that we are here. And tomorrow is the big day. Who might go to... Sorry about that. Okay. Sir, you got a question?
Greetings to everybody. My name is Tunes RSA, Mr. International Kibiza. Just a short story behind me. I'm a lover of music. I'm a lover of opportunities. So I'm just gonna promote my company. It's Tandel Media, and what we do is we are also like the gap between the bridge between emerging talent and like the corporate world, because we are trying to facilitate the collaborations between emerging talent and the corporates, because we find that a lot of emerging talent don't know business ethics, even the most established like talent. Because I'm working with a guy called Mr. NT. He's got like he's a dancer and an influencer. He's got, I'm sure, over 1.5 million followers across all social media platforms, but he's not getting the right gigs. So I looked into that and I was like, why isn't he getting the right gigs? Because I think of the way he's branding himself. So I kind of stepped into that, and we got a collaboration from, you know, the competitors, but it's just showing that like as a manager you have to learn and do more like research on the business of whatever it is that your artist is involved in. And I'm sorry, I'm not asking a question, but my question is actually for Sebenzile. I'm sorry, I just went to another way. So Sebenzile, I want to know, like, how and when do you know that it's the right time to ask for more? Like in terms of, like me as a manager, I'm managing this event that Nati has founded. So we're working with these people, but now we want like more things because our event is looking the same and we can actually see the potential of growth. When you know that it's the right time to ask for more, and yeah, that's just that.
Simple answer to that question is numbers don't lie. So, you know, when you want to engage in a conversation or asking for more, you need to show me what return on investment my brand has received as a result of me collaborating with you. What's the incremental and additional value that you have brought to my brand by virtue of us working with you? So you need to make yourself indispensable. You need to show me that working with you, what value it brings, and the reason why I shouldn't go to somebody else. And it goes back to me saying value proposition is so important. If you know how to define it, if you know how to build it, and if you know how to use it in conversations with brand, you make yourself stand up from the crowd and make yourself something or someone that brands actually want to work with.
Wow. You know, this brother here, I know him from somewhere. Remember when they were looting? And this guy came out of nowhere and I asked him what's going on. He just promoted his album, his mixtape. That's the guy. That's the guy. This man knows his thing, for real. There's papers here, he's don't know what papers here. He writes down everything you guys say. Beautiful, I respect you, my brother. All right, anyone? Or MJ will attend you. All right, you sir? Blade. You know the movie Blade? The vampire guy who shares the vampire with the sword. Wow, you've gained.
Hello guys, my name is Lebopo, from Lesotho actually. I'm a rapper, I'm a copywriter as well. I go by the name of Dadao. And go check me out guys, please. I actually have a question for Dale. I'm a big fan of what you guys do at Stado. I've been following you guys for quite a while. And I just want to know, what is the recruitment process for you guys? How do you, like for example, I saw you guys just sign Marcus Harvey, and how do you go about that, making that decision, or even finding artists, or tapping into artists? How does that go for you guys?
So honestly, there's a little bit of luck involved, and I think we must accept that in our lives as a general rule, is that sometimes you get a little bit lucky, and then you just take that opportunity. So in terms of being at the right place, there's always things that you could do, right? So I'm never out anywhere, right? No one knows me. Hardly anyone in this whole country's never heard of me. But there's people that we work with that if you wanted to get exposed to what they do, I would do some research into them. So I would sit down and say, okay, Sharp, where, if I want to get signed by Stalo, where does Stalo operate from?
Maboni.
Where in Maboni?
Hallmark Hotel.
Hallmark House. So I'll give you an example. There was a visual artist. He moved into Hallmark House because he wanted to work with us. He moved into Hallmark House because he wanted to work with us, because he realized, I'm going to be around these guys enough, and I'm going to be in their face consistently. I'm going to be working there at Thorn at the ground floor restaurant, and I'm going to make sure my laptop's facing the direction so that when they arrive at work, they see that I'm working on some stuff. I'm saying there's levels that other people are going to try and get signed that maybe you aren't, and for me it includes those sorts of things. Who are the right people for me to connect with? How do I engage with them? Where do they work from? Where are they most regularly seen? From our perspective at Stain Entertainment and at Stalo, the name's in it, right? Stalo. We just stay under the radar. We're not here to make stories and present ourselves in a specific way, but there's been enough online for you to be able to pick up that we operate from Hallmark House. How many times have you been to Hallmark House?
Quite a lot.
And have you been presenting yourself, or have you been just looking?
It's a bit of both. I've
Okay.
been there for some studio sessions, but I've also been there just to party.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is great, right? So I'm saying, that's one thing. Another thing is understanding who within the stable is there that's the easiest barrier to entry for you as an artist to make a legitimate connection with. So now you say, okay, sharp, is there any producer that they work with regularly that maybe wants to work with me? So for example, let me not say names, but there's somebody who might want to work with you, someone who's commented on something you've done. Make yourself available to the lowest barrier to entry, right? So if you want to work with Marcus Harvey, or if you want to work with Bontle Modisele on something, or if you want to work with whoever it might be pretty ugly, right? That might not be your entrance in, even though that's your goal. So your entrance might be, oh, okay, sharp. These guys work with a couple of up-and-coming artists in Lord Cares and Mars Baby. Is that an easier way for me to get Stalo looking at me than right at the top? Okay, how am I going to approach it then? And I think that leverage is important, right? So also understanding what kind of music do you do?
Hip-hop.
Perfect. What I'm trying to say, so as a label, we're honest about what we do, right? We haven't done anything in the piano scene because currently, there's no one that's working within the label. We love it, sharp. And I'm the best dancer you've never seen, just as I know. But we don't do piano because it's not really in line culturally with where we are. Right? So that's why we're fundamentally a hip-hop, R&B, alternative kind of label. So we work within that space. If you're a hip-hop artist, it's the right sort of space for you to be. Right? But like I said, I would try and connect with one or two guys who maybe it matters to them that you work with them. And then express yourself the best version that you can. And then that's the first set of eyes that are on you. You know? And so on my side, like I said, it takes a lot to choose to sign an artist, especially a developmental artist. And we've only really worked from a developmental level, and it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of resources, and it requires artists to be patient and not want to make something happen the next week. You know? And so it isn't a quick decision for me to sign people to Stalo or Fred or Vaughan to sign people to Stalo. So take the time, be patient with it, make yourself available, and when the opportunity presents itself, obviously put your best foot forward.
Thank you.
Wow. Ladies, yeah, I'm gonna come to you guys, but ladies need to also ask some questions. Ladies, any questions, ladies? Are you a lady? No, I just want to go to females. Like, don't be scared, don't be shy. Just do your thing, answer, you know, and then ask the question, but it's okay. Let me move on. MJ, I saw you raising your hand. What was that side? Do you have a question? Then I'm gonna come to you. He's an upcoming artist also.
Thanks, Carpo. And to the panel, thanks for the gems. It's really insightful what you, the knowledge that you imparted to the audience. Apologies if this question has been raised before. You know, there's still a show so we're running around, make sure the food is on time and stuff like that. So, it's, you know, frustrations that come along with, you know, organizing an event. And one of them that I would like the panel, no in particular to address, but it's really a sore point when you're organizing an event, right? It's technical versus hospitality. And what advice would you give up-and-coming artists on how to handle the situation and then to realize that you need to take care of your craft first, then you can party on. I listen on the radio.
I think if I'm not mistaken, the question is the whole hospitality fight, that taking technical versus hospitality, that being prioritized more than the other, or is that? Yeah.
Are you saying the artists are prioritizing that more than their actual jobs? Is that what you're saying?
So you find that the artist won't ask about or tell you that I need 2,000 and tell them, keep this thing. Yeah, but I want XO, and 12 plays.